Boom, we're live.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Thank you so much, Joseph. I'm going to do a quick intro on you for those of you who are watching for the first time and may not be familiar. City Clips live series is all about North Florida business and tech and connecting you to experts in the field. So I'm really excited to feature Joseph Petty, our guest. It's for our 93rd episode of City Clips Live. So crazy, insane. I can't believe we're at 93 episodes. Um, and so you have a huge background in tech and AI. And Joseph Petty is a former US Navy nuclear reactor operator and instructor who transitioned into tech after serving 7 years. He spent 5 years operating control systems at the MagLab before founding GreenFlux in 2016, a consulting and software development firm specializing in low-code API integrations and AI. In 2022, Joseph became a developer advocate at Appsmith, where he now leads the DevRel team and manages the developer community. We're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff. Like you got to meet Neil deGrasse Tyson, is that true?
Yeah, yeah. At the MagLab, totally unexpected. I turned around and he was standing right behind me in my office. So,
That's so awesome. And also, let me back up. I actually bumped into you because people always ask me, how do you meet these people? And we actually I stumbled on one of your events that you shared on Domi's Slack channel.
mhm.
And you shared about an AI meetup group, which we'll talk about soon. So that's how we met, and that's why you're here. So thank you so much for hopping on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And it's pretty cool that we connected through Domi. I started my business there back in 2016, and I think I just missed you. But now you're back active in Domi, and I'm getting more active in the local tech scene, and we're hosting an event there. So it's kind of cool that we reconnected through it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm actually at Domi today right now.
Ah,
Awesome Wi-Fi, by the way.
cool.
So yeah, no, thanks for sharing and tell us about the three different events that you're involved in, and they're all related to tech and AI.
Yes. So there are three different local meetups, and I've recently started a third one. We're going to have our first event actually this Saturday. But just to kind of to back up, the oldest one is Tally Devs, and that one is just a local meetup. It's not a chapter of another organization or anything. It was really active before COVID, and then it didn't pick up right away. It was I think just the beginning of this year they had the first meeting since COVID, and I had just founded and just joined then I just got more involved and started helping out with organizing it, and so I think we've had 5 or 6 meetups now, and it's up to it's like 150 people on Meetup and about 10%, about 15 that come to the event each month. So that's the first one, Tally Devs, and it's just developer focused in general. No specific language or AI, whatever. So the second one also started as a local meetup, and it was focused on AI. But when I joined, they had not met in person yet, and there were only 24 members on Meetup. And so that was like about 4 months ago now, and I've grown. I don't want to say just me. So we've had a couple other organizers that have helped a lot. So Santosh and Neil, if you're watching, we have grown from 24 to 84 as of this morning in just a couple months. And then I also had this our local AI meetup. I had it added as a chapter of the global AI community. So they are the largest nonprofit AI focused community. It's multinational, global. They have I think this one has like 130 chapters and over 100,000 members. It's hard to keep all the numbers straight between the different groups, but so we just made our local AI meetup a chapter of Global AI Tallahassee, and our last meetup was the first official one of this new chapter. So that was really cool. And then the third one is Coding Coffee. This is another existing. This one's a national, just U.S. nonprofit, and it's 50,000 devs, and we just became the 40th chapter. So I know the founder of it and the CEO. I met him last month at DevRelCon, which is a conference for people in my field of developer relations in New York, and I met him there the previous year. And so he came up. He knew I was from Florida, and he said, "Hey, we've got chapters all over the U.S., but we don't have any in Florida yet." And so yeah, so I helped start the first one. And this Saturday we will be meeting at Domi noon to 2, and I'm hosting a workshop. It's hands-on. Bring a laptop if you're interested, and we're going to be working with containers using Docker, and then installing Appsmith, which is a company I work for, and then N8N, which is an automation platform, and Olama, which is to run AI locally on your laptop. So it's a hands-on event, whereas the other two groups are more social, and we do presentations at the other two. Like we'll have a speaker or two and have somebody actually like do a demo or present. But it's not the best environment for like a hands-on workshop for everybody to bring their laptop. It's after work on a weeknight. We're ordering pizza, maybe having a beer, right? And so like it's not where you would teach a class and do a workshop. So that's one of the reasons I'm starting this new one, Code and Coffee. It's a different format. It's going to, be earlier in the day, have coffee. We're there to learn, do hands-on stuff, whereas the other two are like hang out and network and social. So yeah, those are the three that I'm involved in locally.
Yeah. And it's really cool because I know I've probably mentioned it to you before. It's just so many folks are trying to run events frequently. But this is unique because it's AI, it's future thinking, and this really is actually open to everyone at every level, right? I think you mentioned
Yes.
beginner status, people who are curious about AI,
Mhm.
people who are already involved in AI,
Yeah,
all
it's
three.
very
Yeah.
welcoming to anybody that's totally new. The AI one, the Tally Dev, or the Code and Coffee, all of them. And it's also great for people that have the experience and the knowledge, and they want to share that with others. If you're interested in mentorship, or if you need practice public speaking and presenting. So you don't. Maybe you're not a beginner, and the level of the topics or whatever, like you're an expert. You don't need it, but you can come here and use this as a chance for that presentation and public speaking, which is it's something I have to do for work, and going to tech events. And if I lived in a big city, I would be going to these things all the time, and somebody else would organize it, and I could just show up, right? But I'm not in a place that has all of these events happening, and it's something that I should be involved in for my work. So since we don't have it, I'm making it happen. I'm starting them so that I get that type of practice in presenting and demoing and building communities locally, building a tech community here. And then I do the same thing remotely. I'm building tech communities around Appsmith and getting involved in like different AI communities and, remote events as well. So a lot of it in person and remotely.
This is great. Yeah, that was the topic we had on the cover image is building tech communities, and you're pretty much just you're not asking for permission, you're not waiting on anyone, which I appreciate, and you're just doing it. And so we do need that kind of meetup. Let's go ahead and say that, but opportunities for networking, connecting with people who want to know more about AI, and then like finding out who's an expert in that in AI
Mhm.
locally too. So and I want to go back to when you moved to Tallahassee. Like, are you originally from Tallahassee or did you move out here for work? How did you get here?
Yeah, I lived in Florida years ago in like the St. Pete area and Port Charlotte, like straight out of high school. I moved down with some friends, and so I had lived here before, and I wanted to come back. And then when I got out of the Navy in like 2009, was looking for where we wanted to settle down, and actually the job at the Magnet Lab, it turns out is really close to operating a reactor. Even though it doesn't involve nuclear power at all, it still involves high energy, high pressure, temperature, all of the pumps and the valves and the breakers and the pressure detectors, like all the same equipment, some of them even the same brands. Like I had worked on that exact model in the Navy. So yeah, that was a good fit. I was there for like 5 years. And then on the side, while I was working there, I started doing some database development, and that took off some side work. And yeah, it started I was working like 80 hours a week, but the second 40 paid more. So that's when I started my business and left the lab and, started GreenFlux from Domi.
Yeah, I'll pull up your website, make sure that we can share that, obviously with GreenFlux, maybe, I mean, you do a lot more, so that's really neat. And what was it like? Because when you worked at the MagLab, um, and this is the world's strongest magnet ever, like in the world, and people don't know
Yeah.
that, so that's why I'm trying to repeat this, even though you and I already know it. But um, what was it like when you were in the control room? It sounds like you were part of that process when they did the first test run.
Yeah, actually, I got to start up the world's strongest magnet of, it's called a split bore magnet. So there's different magnet designs, and the MagLab has the world's strongest of several different types of magnets. So there's like the absolute strongest magnetic field ever. That's like a pulse magnet, but it's like really short. It's a pulse, right? And so it only has certain uses, and you can't get like a long image or see something moving or whatever because it's just instant. And then there's like the highest sustained field one, and it's a hybrid magnet that's like resistive and superconducting. And then there's the split bore one, which is one of their newest ones, and this one allows you to do different types of experiments that the others can't do at all. Basically, it's got a window on the side of it that allows you to shine a laser on the sample that's having the magnetic field applied. And normally, the best you can do is run some wires up there and some sensors and be able to detect something off of it while it's in the field. But there's no way to see it. It's encased. It's like trapped in this shell of the part of the magnet that's wrapped around it. Basically is blocking your view. So there's a split bore design, and I got to start up the very first time it had ever ran, the test run where we like slowly ramped it up and whatever. Unfortunately, that isn't the one that set the record. That was us doing our test, right? Like to make it sure it was safe. And then I think it was the next day or the day after, they actually had people there to certify it and like make it a Guinness record or whatever. So I didn't get to do that test, the one that made it official, but I did let's start it up and make sure it doesn't explode.
That was still part of the process to get there.
Yeah.
Wow. And okay, so how did you meet Neil deGrasse Tyson? Like when did that happen?
He came to Tallahassee, I don't know, probably 13 or 14. And I knew he was coming. I looked, it was at the Ruby Diamond, and it was like one of those things where it's students first for the tickets, and then they were gone. And so like I knew he was going to be in town, and I tried to go and I couldn't. I was all bummed. And then I'm sitting there in the magnet lab at the control station looking at all these screens, and I heard just this like deep bellowing booming voice as he walked in, and he was getting a tour of the lab. The director of the lab had brought him in, and that's a normal thing. They'd bring him through the control room where I worked. So that wasn't a surprise, but the person getting the tour was a huge surprise, right? So I instantly knew when I heard the voice, because I knew he was in town because I wanted to go, and I'm like, oh my God, he's right behind me. So I stood up and I looked all shocked, and the director of the MagLab, Greg, he's like, is everything okay? Is this a bad time? I'm like, no, this is fine. He's like, oh, well, I usually bring people through for tours all the time, and you just keep working. I'm like, yeah, well, you usually don't bring in Neil deGrasse Tyson. I got a picture with him. It was great. But yeah, a little unexpected. Not
every day.
Working and heard him behind me. Like, wow, that's him.
Yeah. Rock star scientist, one of the world's most famous scientists. Yeah. So you were like an awestruck, probably.
Yeah. So I didn't get to go to the event, but I got to meet him in person and get a picture. So even better.
That's great. That's awesome. That's even better. Yeah, there's so much we could. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of the MagLab, but that's another like thing that could be another topic we can have you on for. But so let's talk about AI, and you being a developer and having that experience too. Like, how does that affect you personally? And it seems like you support it because you're putting these events together. So what is your perspective of AI, and how could this help Tallahassee too?
Well, you mentioned like me as a developer, right? And there's a lot of talk about AI replacing developers, and so I totally get that. I've seen both sides of it. I don't think it's black and white at all, but there definitely is a negative side to it. I personally find it very beneficial, and I use it all the time for coding. And I'm pretty experienced in JavaScript. I know I don't need to look things up. I can just write the code. I'm learning Python, and what I've found is that I really have to like force myself to pay attention and to like analyze what the AI is doing instead of just taking the answer and checking it off like, okay, it works, because you can use AI to write the code for you, and it might work, and you finish the task you set out to do, and it feels like a win, right? But like you won't learn anything if you just take it's doing your homework for you, right? And you don't actually have to think about anything. So I find it beneficial, but in Python, since I'm still learning that one, it's really easy to just it works cool on to step 2, 3, 4, whatever, and you don't learn. So I have to force myself to like read every line and then ask questions. Well, why do you do it this way? And so I think if you approach it the right way, you can still learn through it, and it's still aiding you in the long run instead of just that quick win. But it's also really easy to just keep taking the quick wins and you don't learn anything. So it just comes down to the user.
Yeah. I mean, I still think experts, like it needs to be validated and corrected and reviewed by experts and people who have experience because it still has errors. Like the different tools
Yeah.
that are out there will still have mistakes. Um, I mean, we're testing it internally. We're using it for different things, for projects and stuff. And even putting a video commercial together. I mean, at least the ones that we've tested out. Like I even tested out putting my headshot on and then having me
Mhm.
talk. Like it just did not look normal at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's
But I mean,
impressive how far it's come in a couple years. I don't know if you've seen the meme that every time a new AI video generation model comes out, there's this common like benchmark test that they do, but it's also kind of a joke. It's Will Smith eating spaghetti with his hands. Like that's the prompt, right? And you give that to the AI video, and then every time there's a new model, they compare V1 to the very
really?
first one, and it just looks terrible. It's so fake looking, right? And then like you see the next one is the progression of it getting better, and he's just using his bare hands shoving spaghetti in his mouth. It's
I
pretty
didn't
good.
know
But
that. That's
somebody decided that's the benchmark. That's the test for video generation. So there's a whole
wow.
series of them, and you can compare the different models as it's getting better.
So do they have different benchmarks for different things?
Oh
Like,
yeah, there's
for
tons of them.
coding?
Yeah, and
Uh,
uh, then there's companies trying to game the benchmarks. Like they want theirs to be the next one when they release it to be like ranked to the top. And so I think it was Meta 3, Llama 3 or 4. I don't know.
mhm.
One of the recent ones that came out tried to like game the benchmarks, and on paper they had good numbers, but then when you use it in practice, basically they had optimized. It's like when you teach students to only pass the test, right? Like the exact questions that they need to pass the class, and you only teach them that part, and then in real world they don't have any useful knowledge. So that's what they did to their model to get the numbers for the benchmark, but in the long run it didn't help them. So
So what are your favorites? Because, every maybe let's say Y Combinator, they have their list, but maybe they also give their own tools favoritism because they've invested in them.
mhm.
But what would you say, from your experience testing things out, like what are your favorite ones, AI tools?
Claude, so Anthropic, Claude, which is a series of models, and then Claude Opus 4.1 is the newest one. That's my go-to for a lot of different stuff, but I mainly use it for generating code, and I like their terminal, the CLI. So it's Claude code in the terminal instead of on a website, and and you can use that model either directly from their tool, or you can use like I think Lovable, Replit, all the different
Yeah.
coding platforms. They'll let you choose which model you want to use. So a lot of times I'm using that same model even if I'm not directly using it in Claude
Hmm.
Code. It's my go-to
Oh,
one for pretty much all of them.
that's
And then
awesome.
this past weekend, I did a test of trying to see which AI coding tools were best at replicating a UI, a user interface from an image, without a text prompt. So like without describing what I want you to build, if I just give it an image, which one does the best job? And it turned out to be the one I'm already using. So I did learn a couple other cool things from the experiment. And the main one that I used did the best at replicating it in one shot. Excuse me.
Yeah.
There were some that didn't do well at all that were kind of a surprise. But the really cool thing that I learned out of it wasn't which model's better. I learned that the first time through it, I gave it the image and a in-depth text description of the image. You know, I used a different AI to analyze the image and look at it and then like describe it. And then I put that description back in there. Every single one of the tools, I tested 7 different ones. They all did worse when they had the image plus text. And then I redid the whole experiment with all 7 of the tools and only gave it the image. And then like the text was real short. It just said, make it look like this, you know. They all did better given only the image. And so that wasn't even what I was trying to test or learn. I was just trying to see which model was best at replicating. But yeah, what I learned is if you're trying to use AI to build an app that has a certain look or feel, you know, start with an image, don't describe it at all, you know, just say, build a CRM, build a sales, you know, lead tracker, whatever it is, and then give it a picture without trying to tell it the theme or the colors or whatnot. And then you can always add more prompts after that, like let it do step 1. But I think you'll get better results if you do image first, see what it gets, and then adjust from there with text.
Oh, cool. I love that. Yeah, because I have so many different app ideas that I would have loved to build in another life,
Yeah.
but I think AI makes it more possible for me to like test something out. Um, and I want to talk about like community because you've done a bunch of stuff like Brew Tallahassee. Is that the way to?
Brutality. Yeah.
Oh, you're tell-
Yes. So years ago, when did I start it? I think it was 2013. I had met a lot of different people in Tallahassee through 3 different clubs I was in. There was a Gulf Wind Strat Club, and I was on the board there as an event manager. And
Really?
then the Tallahassee Mountain Bike
Tallahassee Mountain Bike
Association,
Association.
and
Yeah.
I did events for them for a while, and then was VP one year. And then the North Florida Brewers League, was just a member there, wasn't ever on the board. But basically, I had met a lot of different people in town through these 3 different groups, but very few of them knew each other. And so I started this event just to kind of get my clubs together. So it was a off-road duathlon. You'd run a 5K, ride about 10 miles, and then run another 5K. And you could have a partner. So you'd have one person do the run and one do the bike, or you could do the whole thing yourself. And then there were different awards for the people that did it solo and teams, and then for male and female, first, second, and third. So I don't know, like almost 30 awards. And then afterwards, we had an after party with homebrew. And so I would
That's
brew
so
some beer
cool.
for it, and several other people from the homebrew club donated. And it was a huge event. It ran for 10 years. I think it skipped 1 year for COVID, came back for a couple more, and it finally ended after a 10-year run. So for the first 5 years, I was really active, and I directed, I basically did everything, like coordinated the event, got sponsors, the event sign up, you know, T-shirts, did everything. And I think the first 5 years that I was doing it, we had raised like $42,000 for TMBA. So like there were 3 organizations involved, but it was specifically a fundraiser for TMBA. And then we would use that to like do trail work. And we actually built some completely new trails that got added, and other times it was upkeep or whatever. But yeah, it was a really fun event. I started out just kind of putting it together and not really knowing where it would go or how big it would get. And it was huge for the first 5 or 6 years. Like I said, COVID, it took a year off, and then it wasn't quite as big when it came back. But it was a lot of fun. Learned a ton from it, you know, as far as like coordinating events, and that's helped now with what I'm doing in tech, being in developer relations and putting on like local events and stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of a fun thing that I threw together, and it's got way bigger than I expected.
That's so cool. Sounds like you're natural in getting people together, and it makes so much sense you're doing that with AI. So I'm really excited for what you're going to do with that. And like you said, it's with Appsmith, right? That you travel a lot. You're
Yeah.
representing them, I guess, and then also in a lot of tech communities and tech events. Do you like have any recommendations for what to attend? There's so many out there.
Oh yeah, there are a ton. It really depends on what you're looking to get out of attending. I mean, they're great events for networking, and if you're looking for a job or something like that, they're good to attend for that. For us, Appsmith, we're going there to present our product. It's more about awareness and showing people what types of problems you can solve with Appsmith. But then individual people watching, if you're interested in going to these types of events, it might be more for job search or for finding other people in your field. So there's a lot you can get out of it, and there's a wide range of the events. Yeah, it really just depends on what you're looking for.
What a cool site. I'm just now like it's so see, I should show the whole thing actually. Because I'm like scrolling through. So okay, so did you feel like your team had to, and I know there's probably you can tell us a little bit more about how big your team is and everything because you're all remote, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Um,
we're all fully remote.
Awesome. And y'all probably knew you had to shift from being app developers to actually AI agent, custom AI agent builders too, right? Sounds
Yes.
like it, because then on the
So
website it
Appsmith
shows.
just past 6 years. We've been out for 6 years now, but for the first like 4, it was purely a low code tool. So that's no code is what it sounds like. You don't have to write any code at all, and you
Yeah.
can just drag and drop and build an app. We're a low code platform, which means there's a lot of things that you don't write any code for. You can build the entire interface for your app by just drag and drop, but then you can write code, and we encourage it. And there's a lot of places you can write JavaScript to transform data and to connect different systems, to add like workflows and logic, and then you can write SQL and interact with APIs directly. Whereas no code platforms try to hide that stuff. It's too technical, so they try to simplify it with drop downs and make an interface instead of writing code. So anyway, for the first 4 years, we were purely low code, and then in the past couple of years, we started adding AI integrations at first, which are like just a connection point. So you can build an AI powered app, but you still do all the coding, right? And then just a few months ago, we added AI agents. So now the agent is doing things for you. You just log in and give it access to whatever, to your Gmail, to Notion or Google Docs, and then you can chat with it, and it's taking actions, and it's able to pull data from different systems or create records and place an order, look up sales data, whatever you need it to do.
That's so cool. I mean, that's an impressive clientele that I see showcased on your website. And might as well just share that too.
Yeah,
Like I could
a
see
lot
my
of
career.
Fortune 500 companies. I've
Yeah.
been on calls with Dropbox and Amazon and our bigger customers, like helping them
Yeah.
use our software. So they use it for internal tools. That's our main use case. You can
Hmm.
build an app that's public or customer facing with our platform, but we're more focused on those internal tools that just help a company do the things they're already doing to do it faster. To a process like payroll and HR, or employee leave tracker, or whatever like random service that you'd have to subscribe to just to track something like what Monday.com and Workday and all those, right? A lot of our
Hmm.
customers are rebuilding those types of platforms because they just need it for like one main thing. It's their employee leave tracker or whatever it is, and so they'll rebuild that with Appsmith, and it's the same one subscription fee, but now with our platform, with that one fee, you can build all the apps. You can go replace 10 different subscriptions and just have this one platform to build all of your suite of apps.
Wow, very cool. And I'm so glad I stumbled upon your post because otherwise I wouldn't know you exist and still be asking who is in town building AI agents. Because and I'm so excited about all the events that you're going to, I mean, you're already been involved in, and then the Saturday one that you're making it friendly, more conducive to those who have workday schedules throughout the
Mhm.
week, and then they can still attend on a Saturday. That one's code and coffee, right?
Yeah.
So let's remind everyone when those events are before we start wrapping up. And then, so you have Wednesdays, every other Wednesdays,
Not quite
or
every other. So
okay,
the first two, the Tallahassee Devs and the
great.
Global AI Meetup, those are both on Wednesdays. The AI one is the first Wednesday, and the Tally
Mhm.
Dev one is the third Wednesday, which is tonight.
Okay,
And then Code and Coffee is going to be the third Saturday at Domi.
okay.
So all three of them are on Meetup. And yeah, if you just search like tech or AI in Tallahassee on Meetup, you're going to find all three of them.
So two questions to end with. Why do you stay in Tallahassee? Because you don't have to be in Tallahassee, I don't think.
Yeah.
Being a tech guy and having to travel for work and everything. And then the second thing is, I guess it's more like, what would you say if you were at the table for influential people in town? What would be the smartest thing to do? And you were at the Innovation Summit, so you know what they're all
Mhm.
talking about and what they want to do. What would be the best thing to do as a city and a community to get ready for the future with AI disrupting everything?
Hmm. Okay.
So why are you in Tallahassee
Second one's
still?
going to take some thought. Uh,
You
so
have time.
yeah, why I'm staying in Tallahassee? I mean, we moved here when I got out of the Navy, and we chose Tallahassee. I found the job at the MagLab, and we love all of the trails and stuff here. When we moved here, actually, my wife and I, neither one of us were into running and mountain biking, but we ended up getting into it really big just from the community, from people we worked with that were into it. And so that's a reason that we stay. We love the trail system and everything. My wife's also going to school here, so yeah, we're actually from the Midwest, but we've been here over 10 years, so this is home now.
That's awesome. Okay, so
Yeah.
then a recommendation to, because wrapping it up with the title of today, building tech communities, I would think our community needs to be ready for the future of tech.
Yeah.
I mean, I love how you have the background in the Mag Lab too. There's all kinds of conversations on highlighting the Mag Lab, but I think also AI needs to be a part of the story.
Yeah. So as you're asking advice for the like for the community, for businesses, individuals, what's
Yeah,
the
yeah. Yeah, sure. The businesses, the private sector, maybe even the public sector, everybody needs to catch up on what's going on. You've seen the landscape probably globally
yeah.
more so than we have.
So I would say focus on not AI or which tool, but focus on what problem that you need to solve for your business, and then work backwards from there and find the right AI tool. Because there are so many, like you cannot keep up. There's every day there's like hundreds of new AI tools, and there's ones that specialize in every single possible area, and the chances of you just like finding the right tool first and then finding a problem to solve that there's just way too many tools to look at. So my advice would be like, don't look for AI to be the solution or whatever. Like look for the problem first that's actually worth your time. What's a bottleneck in your organization that if you could fix that would actually change your bottom line, and then do more of a detailed search in that area to find the right like AI tool. But for me, writing code, Claude Code is my go-to one. If I was doing creative writing, I'd probably be using GPT, one of their models, or Gemini possibly. But there's different uses, different ones for different things, and I think the best way is for people to educate themselves on the tools that are out there. But you still have to have a good problem first. Like don't go buy a hammer and then think everything's a nail. Like find the nail that needs it first, or maybe it's not a nail, maybe it's a screw, so then you go get a screwdriver. But yeah, start with the problem.
That's a great recommendation. I love that because it is overwhelming to work that way. And there are several bottlenecks in my company that I need to address. And I will have to follow up with you and just ask you like how would I tackle this problem, these things, A, B, and C. And as a community, I think that would be a great way to solve some of the problems that are happening, on every level from private to public sector. So
Mhm.
thank you so much, Joseph, for hopping on my humble show, and I'm really excited to see how things work out for you. And you might as well do like some type of hackathon related to
Yeah,
AI.
I can't say too much yet, but there might be something in the works.
Oh, okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, we'll go ahead and end here. And for those of you who want to know upcoming episodes and everything that's happening in town, subscribe for free on cityclips.net. Joseph, hang tight, and I will see you on the other side.
All right,
Bye, guys.
thanks.